What's going on, guys? Danny here from Metal Couch, bringing you another album review. Today we're going to be taking a look at Origin's Omnipresent, their latest release. Now, my history with Origin is somewhat limited. I listened to Entity, and I've seen them live once. That was my first exposure to the band, and I enjoyed their live performance, so I picked up a shirt and their album Entity at the time. And I was always quite captivated at how they were able to play things so fast and have them be so intricate and complex, yet coherent. And I guess that's something that you would get in this genre with technical death metal. Origin, to me, well, although they're not exactly the best band out there, metal-wise, they've always kind of intrigued me a little bit. It's always interesting to listen to what they have on the table. And Omnipresent is no different. This album clocks in at about 35 minutes, which may sound a little short, but once you get into the second half of this album, the material really shines, and you get just an awesome set of songs all in a row. But going through the track listing here, the first 4 tracks, All Things Dead, Thrall Fulcrum Apex, Permanence, Manifest Desolate, and Absurdity, I'll even throw Absurdity of What I Am in there. So really the first 5 tracks. These are fairly mediocre tracks. I had already reviewed All Things Dead, and that was very good as a teaser to the album, but really these first 5 tracks are just kind of like, okay, sure. And to me, it was almost as if it was becoming a bad sign. Usually when an album can't captivate me 5 tracks in, then I don't really think that by the end of it I'm going to enjoy it. With Omnipresent, that is not the case. Once you get into songs such as Source of Icon O, Continuum, Redistribution of Filth, The Indiscriminate, all of these, the second half of this album is fantastic. So I really would have preferred it if it was kind of spread out across the album, so maybe you got like 1 bad track here and then 2 really good ones. But other than that, this album is really good. I wouldn't exactly go around saying that it's a 9 out of 10, but I really enjoyed the music, especially on things like Continuum. There's a few instrumental tracks spread out throughout this album with Permanence, Continuum, and Obsolescence. I really enjoyed Continuum because after listening to Entity, I haven't really heard Origin play something quite as slow and probably not as complex. It's a very simple sounding instrumental compared to other things such as Unattainable Zero, for example, which comes right afterwards. There's a lot of tracks where that instrumental will play and it'll lead into 1 or 2 tracks which are heavily related to said instrumental. And I wouldn't exactly go as far as to say that this is a concept album by any means, but it's there. It's Origin. I mean, if you do not like technical death metal, this album is not going to change your mind by any means. But as a release, a metal release in the middle of July, well, not really the middle of July, I should say the middle of summer, it's a pretty solid album. I wouldn't recommend going out and buying it at full price, mostly because it's only about a 35-minute album. There's not really that much material here to warrant paying $15, $20 for said album. But I would definitely pick it up when it gets a little bit cheaper. Definitely give it a listen. If you have a streaming service, definitely go through that and at least give this album a chance. So if I had to give this album a grade out of 10, I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's not going to change people's minds about heavy metal. It's not going to convert people to technical death metal, but what it is going to do is create a very small, pleasurable experience for those of us who do enjoy technical death metal. So a 7 out of 10 for me. Danny here from Metal Couch, signing out.